Good afternoon. My name is Jason Wilson, and I'll be walking you through a few steps using the Cameo DataHub, the MagicDraw UML 17.0.1 tool, the UPDM plugin version 1, and IBM Rational Doors. So let's get started. You can see this is the standard view of UPDM. The first thing I'm going to demonstrate today is how to build a stereotype in MagicDraw. On the left-hand side, you have the data. You'll left-click, then right-click. You'll select a new element. To categorize your stereotypes, I like to start with a package. I'm going to label this package demo and press enter. I'm then going to select it again inside the containment tree, right click, go to new element and select stereotype. This will automatically ask you to label. I'm going to label this doors rec. They're going to be for the doors attributes, even though it's going to have a requirement. Now it's already selected element, and it comes predefined as the base element for UML2. I tend to delete this so I can put it wherever I want on any element at any time. You do not have to. This is just a preference of mine. So let's add our attributes from doors to make properties within the stereotype. Let me open doors so you see what I'm talking about. Here in doors is the data set that we're going to be working with today. At the top here, you can see that these are the attributes that are needed. So let's go back to MagicDraw. Within MagicDraw, doors requirement, let's left click it, get it blue, and right click and go to new element and click property. From here, we'll need to go ahead and label each attribute we would want the DataHub to fulfill within the syncing of the two tools. Once your properties are labeled, go ahead and save your demo. Then I recommend is restarting MagicDraw. This will save the data and allow the DataHub to pick up all the information stored. So let's go ahead and do that. Welcome back. Now with our tool restarted, let's go ahead and get to the DataHub so we can get going. Let's connect to the DataHub server. Let's find Rational Doors and open up the database. This is here. We'll find what data we'll want to work with for this demonstration. You saw earlier in the demonstration the doors module. That same module is now here in the DataHub. So let's get started. Where would we like to start? Well, capability view, a CV1 vision. Let's start there. So we'll right click on CV1 and add a CV1 vision diagram. And we'll label it 1. And let's bring these over as a desired effect. Well, there's two problems that I see with this generalization of desired effect. First thing is I'm going to need to go to options and project. For this project, I'm going to then go to general project options and scroll down until I see UPDM. Within UPDM, I want the SysML compliance mode. As long as I click that and make it true, I'll then click OK and press yes. That added the SysML requirement to this desired effect. But we still have not added our doors stereotype to this. So let's go ahead and do that. There's two options we can do. We can drag and drop our stereotype. You can see that it's highlighted blue. And then it says doors requirement. I'm going to undo that. And the other option is to double click on the desired effect, find the applied stereotype, click on the blue box, and then click randomly, either on requirement or desired effect class. There's a little edit button in the right hand corner, and then you're allowed to type. If you type doors, you will see that our doors requirement is now labeled. And let's press apply, and it will automatically apply to this element. One thing that I like to do to guarantee my elements or requirements from the doors module to come over to MagicDraw is I'll either leave it on the canvas or I'll make sure it stays in the containment tree. So for this demonstration, I'm just going to delete it off the canvas and keep it in the containment tree. So what I'm going to do is grab the scope and require. I'll cancel that. We now have scope and requirements, and I'm going to bring those on top of this element, and I'm going to say no to the recursiveness. I'm going to scroll down in these types section. This is all the elements possible within MagicDraw, and you're going to see that there's two requirements. The top one is the SysML requirement, and the bottom one is the desired effect requirement. Now I've labeled these in the past, so while it's validating, on the bottom here you can see the object heading is the name, but we need to edit this and apply our stereotype. So for this, we know the actual, and we'll let it validate. And I am going to change one thing. I'm going to change this object text to documentation. This will give me the ability to see it in a different area. Now I need to click on requirements or scope, either or, and have the trace relationship be added to both of those. Because I added these two elements to an unnamed source, it put them underneath them. But let's go ahead and bring them to the canvas. We have now scope and requirements. And let's go ahead and delete our main node. I'm going to move these to the file and then delete. So, where'd the relationship go? The relationship is still here. We need MagicDraw to point it out for us. If we left click on scope, then right click and go to related elements and say display paths, it will automatically show any path that's related to it. Here, requirements is traced back to the scope. Now, where'd that object text go? If you click on scope and click documentation on the side here, you can see test sync is a part of this. Let's go back to the doors module and see what came over and how it came over. We can see the scope is the main heading text. Test sync is now the documentation. Now, there's attributes involved in this too. So let's see what those are. The requirement is false, and the actual is not available. The ID number was 1. It's the very first one. And the link is there as well. And the same goes for 2. There was no object text for the requirements, so there should be nothing in the documentation section. This concludes the demonstration of this.